In the early hours of August 9th, 2013, a 911 dispatcher in Bronte, Texas receives an emergency call. The man on the line is frantic, breathless, hard to understand. He speaks in fragments. The dispatcher asks a simple question. "Are you injured?" The answer comes back, calm and unmistakably clear. "No, I'm not hurt." The call lasts 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Brandon Lawson was never seen again. This was not a disappearance in the wilderness. Brandon Lawson vanished from the side of an active highway, within reach and help, in plain sight. Brandon Lawson was 26 years old in the summer of 2013. He worked in the oil fields near San Angelo, Texas. Hard labor, long hours. He lived with his partner and their 3 young children. By most accounts, he was devoted to his family, even as the relationship grew strained. Brandon had a history with methamphetamine, a long struggle. Context, not an explanation. On the night of August 8th, Brandon argued with his partner. Shortly after, he left the house. He got into his truck and he drove. Within hours, he would be calling for help. The timeline begins shortly before midnight on August 8th, 2013. After an argument at home, Brandon Lawson decides to leave. He gets into his pickup truck and drives north on Highway 277 toward his father's house nearly 4 hours away. He will never arrive. Around 12:30 a.m., Brandon runs out of fuel. His truck rolls to a stop on the shoulder of the highway, about 9 miles south of Bronte, Texas. Rural land, darkness, almost no traffic. With little phone battery remaining, he calls his brother, Kyle. Brandon explains he's out of gas and gives his location. Kyle says he's coming. He tells Brandon to wait by the truck. But minutes later, something changes. At 12:54 a.m., Brandon Lawson calls 911. What the dispatcher hears is not a routine request for roadside help. His voice is urgent, disjointed, afraid. He speaks of men chasing someone into a field, of cars being pushed, of running. Fragments without clear meaning. The dispatcher asks if he's been injured. She asks if he's injured. "No, I'm not hurt." But he says he needs help, and he needs it now. The call lasts less than 5 minutes. When it ends, Brandon Lawson is still somewhere along that dark stretch of highway. By the time help arrives, he is gone. One clue remains: a frantic 911 call in the dark. Brandon says he's in a field, that someone is chasing him. The dispatcher asks if he's hurt. He says no. Then the line goes silent. When police arrive minutes later, Brandon Lawson is gone. Deputy Neal arrives just after 1 a.m., scanning Highway 277 for a stranded truck. He finds nothing. No vehicle, no person, no sign of the emergency described in the 911 call. What he doesn't know is critical. Brandon's truck isn't on the highway. It's parked on an access road near County Road 300, about a mile away. A simple location error creates a dangerous window of time. At 1:20 a.m., Brandon's brother Kyle arrives and finds the truck immediately. Unlocked, phone inside, keys in the ignition. But Brandon is gone. Kyle calls into the darkness. No answer. By the time police reach the correct location, nearly 3 hours have passed since the 911 call. Search dogs follow a scent into the fields, then lose it. Brandon Lawson is nowhere, as if the Texas night simply swallowed him whole. Every missing persons case creates theories. Brandon's disappearance created many. None truly fit. One points to methamphetamine and paranoia, a man fleeing imagined threats into the Texas night. But if he was alone, why does his scent trail end so suddenly? And whose voices might be heard on the 911 call? Another suggests a hidden accident, a fall, an injury, a body lost in rough terrain. Yet searches found nothing. A darker possibility involves other people. The words guise and chasing, lingering in the dark. And the most painful theory of all, that Brandon chose to disappear, but he left everything behind and called for help. Each theory explains something. None explain the truth. In the weeks after Brandon vanished, new details surfaced, none bringing clarity, only more questions. A resident near the site reported hearing a man screaming in the pre-dawn darkness. Deputies searched. They found nothing. Witnesses described unknown vehicles pulled over near Brandon's truck that night. A dark sedan, a pickup, never identified. And with no traffic cameras on that rural highway, whatever happened left no record behind. Years later, human remains were discovered 15 miles away. Hope surged, then collapsed. DNA confirmed they were not Brandon. Criticism of the investigation slowly grew. Delayed searches, missed leads, and a phone that was never fully analyzed. Each unanswered detail closed another door, leaving only silence behind. More than a decade later, Brandon Lawson is still missing. No suspects, no charges, no body, no explanation. The 911 call has been replayed endlessly, analyzed, debated, never understood. His family never stopped searching. His children grew up without answers. What investigators know is simple and deeply unsettling. Brandon did not start a new life. He left no trail, no contact, no sign of survival. Whatever happened to him happened there, near that highway, in the dark. And after all these years, nothing has ever been found. Brandon Lawson asked for help. He called the one number meant for emergencies. He said he needed police. He said he wasn't hurt. And then, before help could arrive, he disappeared. Not into wilderness, not into another life, but in plain sight, beside a highway. A truck left behind, a voice in the dark, and silence that never ended. Somewhere in Texas, the truth still exists, waiting to be found. Until then, Brandon Lawson remains frozen in time, a call for help, followed by nothing at all. Cases like this one remind us how fragile the line between ordinary life and unimaginable tragedy can be. If this story stayed with you, consider subscribing to the Unsolved Echoes. Some stories never truly end. Thank you for watching.